My name is Mike DiPietro. My business is Mike DiPietro Inc., or Michael DiPietro LLC, to be exact. And I do with my background in finance and former elected official, vice mayor, city of Doral, is where I had first met you. I operate two businesses in essence. One's in the merchant services arena, which is the financial sector, and the other is into copper mining in Argentina, which is also my relationship with them is in a financial capacity as well, not on the mining side. So under Michael DiPietro LLC, I am the president of my own corporation, and I serve as president of Medal, MEDAL, Transaction Services Inc., which we had just launched not too long ago, and that's going to be in the merchant services industry as well. So it's an upcoming company. We're going to be what's called an ISO, an independent sales organization, securing merchants in the need for a credit card, which is MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and American Express, as well as ACH needs. I also serve as Chief Financial Officer, CFO, of Quanta Solutions since 2008, an existing company. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of merchants on our books already in that regard. It's a very exciting business. I've been doing it since 2005, and it's very rewarding financially. Residual income is what the merchant services industry is about. I recommend it as if someone is looking for how to build their book of business and how to build their income. It is the revenue streams on a residual basis is very rewarding. And I can attest that after 17 years, I'm making some very good money. The other endeavor I've been involved with for the last 6-7 years is in the copper mining down in Argentina, in the Patagonia district, if you will, in the area called Neuquén. And what we do is we mine copper as well as vanadium and lithium as our three main resources, if you will. And I serve as a CFO for that company. And in addition to that, also Santa Barbara Copper Industries, if you will. And that's a new venture that we started about a year ago on that regard as well. It's a completely different business than the merchant services. It's a whole different structure, different clientele base. In the merchant services, you have a situation where you are going after merchants, whether they're a small merchant or even a large multi-location supermarkets, et cetera, even as large as the hotels and spas to large ACH situations like insurance companies, et cetera. So it's a completely different dynamic. In the copper business, it's really everything is based on what's called 12-month contracts. And your clients are everything from companies like Tesla to Samsung to LG, anybody that needs large volumes of copper on a continual basis. So it's a completely different dynamic in the businesses. But I love it. My background is a finance undergraduate degree from the University of Miami. I also went to Florida State.
Nice.
And there you go. And I also have an MBA back in early 1980s. So with those two kind of background of the last 17 years, if you will, kind of really takes up my time. Prior to that, that's where I met you. I was the vice mayor, city of Doral. And so I understand a lot about municipal and regional county level, if you will. State and even federal. I have a lot of contacts all the way up, including President Donald Trump himself. So it's been a pleasure to kind of, bring all these worlds of my background together and to do what I do today. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for how you've been able to assist my own credit background and monitoring my credit as we move forward.
Thank you, Mike. So question here. How do you manage to do all this within just 24 hours? Give us some nuggets over here. Wow. Well, what an incredible task.
I learned from the best, and you know who I'm talking about. When you get up at 4 or 5 in the morning and you get ahead of everybody else. It's kind of a page I took of a very dear friend I want to mention his name, but Mr. Chris Colston. But in all honesty, it is a challenge, but not every day is intense in any one particular business, whether it's the merchant services or the copper. So I've been able to blend both worlds simultaneously throughout the course of a day. Yes, sometimes it's weekend work. Yes, sometimes it's traveling down to Argentina. I have to travel down over to California for a merchant service conference at the beginning of September. So I kind of fit it all in. I don't know how to tell you it. I just, when you really want to do something and you enjoy doing it, it's becomes second nature.
You make it fun.
Stop and think about. Yes, absolutely. You have to
make it fun. And this is why I think this video that I'm doing right now, that you and I are doing, is so fun, right? It's going to take a couple of minutes, but we're friends. We have been friends. We started as friends, so it's just easy to get to.
Absolutely.
Question, Mike. How did you hear about Second Chance Credit?
Goes back to my political days, right? I was the vice mayor of the city of Doral, and this young gentleman came up and was a member of the Doral Business Council, or the one of those chamber of commerce that we had back then. And I started the DBC. I was one of the founders, and we had some dialogue. And next thing I know, I'm sitting on the porch side of the Doral resort, smoking a cigar and drinking a scotch.
Remember? Wow.
And then fast forward, we kept in contact over the years, and the next thing you know, I'm termed out of office, and I'm back in my old original neighborhood of Coral Gables, and I joined the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce and as a trustee member, and you were there, and we had some great dialogues, and then one day I reached out to you. You actually had reached out to me originally, and I reached out to you, and I said, Chris, I'm ready for your assistance. And that was back in around 2015, if you recall, when I was about to embark on a hotel venture.
I remember.
A hotel venture did not move forward, but because of that, and because of the need to help with my credit, you were instrumental, and your company was instrumental to really dig deep and understand my background, what was going on with my world at that time. And it was actually pre-copper world, if you will. And we just dove in there, and with your guidance and your expertise and your staff's expertise as well, able to achieve my credit score from, I think it was like a 6-something to, I think it right now embarking about 840, 842. I haven't checked this morning.
It's incredible what you have done. And I did not think that you were going to remember that night at Trump Doral. It was, what was it called before? Now I don't remember what it was called before.
It was the Doral Resort, for lack of
but I remember sitting outside.
Absolutely.
We were there, and I was so young, and you were the vice mayor, and I was like, how can I just get invited to sit here? And you said, Chris, sit with us, have a cigar and a scotch. And I remembered, I even tried to pay for my drink, or try to do something, and you were like, no, this is on me. No. And it really resonated how you wanted to reach out and help out a young entrepreneur, trying to just make it out there. Like the last conversation I had before, you sent the elevator back down. And when you send the elevator back down, Mike, you actually brought up the elevator because you pressed the other buttons to go up. And thankfully, God, I was inside the elevator. So I want to say thank you very much for helping me when I was just starting to network, and I was very green, but you were there as a mentor. So appreciate that a lot.
So, I want to add that what I saw in you was something special. Okay. I didn't know about your background too much. I just kind of knew that you were somebody with a new member of the business council, but it's something I learned a long time ago, is paying it forward. I had some people I can refer to in my past as a mentor, or as someone who provided guidance to me. And I felt that was always important. If I couldn't do anything for anybody, at least to be there, to hear them out, to give them a arm around the shoulder, to, and to give them some words of advice that would encourage them, because, we all have careers and we all have passion. I had no idea you were going to amass the amount of success and the outreach that you have today. I admired you from the first day I saw you, with the NFL, and hopefully in some other sports league. But I just think that to catch me out. I really do.
Thank you, Mike. So at the time that you reached out for, our services, why did you believe we were the best choice for you?
That's a very good question because, as you stated, I do know other people in the credit industry, but it's very important to me to have a kind of a relationship with the person I'm doing business with, especially in this particular area or areas like this. And I always felt a connection with you from that day one as we're talking about. And I watched your career develop, and I watched how you maintained yourself and how you grew within not only your own organization, but within the chamber structure. And you went out and attacked things that most people would not even consider, which, going back to what I was talking about with the NFL, to me, that's important. So when I had to make a decision, there were about a handful of credit repair or credit counseling, I should say, companies, but there was only one at the top, and that was Chris Colston, Second Chance Credit.
Thank you, Mike. For me, and I always say this to everyone, when someone I know reaches out to me, right, for my services, and it could just be to fix their credit or fine tune their credit or help them just get to the next threshold. There's so many personal information that I'm going to ask, so many personal data that I will have. And for someone just to open up in that way, for someone just to say, I need help, it's so, for me, it's the ultimate gift for me, because it's like, wow, I'm going to help out my friend with this. And we go over and above. It's such, there's no words right now that I could come up. I'm trying to come up with one, and it's like, there's so many of them flying around, but it's such an honor when I have a friend, a colleague to trust myself and my company with their situation. And we want to, really move forward. And we're so thankful for everyone. But, our friends is the ultimate gift for us, Mike.
I think a good word would be humble, right? Because you have to be humble first. You have to have the passion, you have to have the knowledge, you have to be an expert in what you do or on the way to being an expert, but you have to be humble. And you have to be able to be comfortable with yourself. So number one, I had to be comfortable with myself to reach out to you, a friend, in order to do that. Because, a lot of friends, they don't want to share their personal world. And this is also financial. So it's, more impactful than just a personal situation. With somebody they know, because, oh my God, they're sharing that kind of wealth of information about me inside, and share it with somebody that I can trust, which in this case is you. But you have to be humble. I have to be humble in order to, say, Chris, I need your help. And you have to be humble in order to say, Mike, I understand where you're coming from, and I respect you, and I can help you.
Yeah.
And I think it's a two-way street, is what we're saying. Yeah. But I think one of the first words had to be humble, and I saw that in you. You had a desire, but also you had respect. So you can use the word humble, rapport, respect, but you have to have the acknowledgement that this person is going to be able to bring me to where I have to go.
I agree with you there. So, in us, respecting each other and being humble with each other. So, how has Second Chance Credit helped you, right? In a quick success story, we don't have to dive in so deep. How we helped you with your credit and your finances, Mike?
Well, like I said, raising any score from when I used to have in the old days, 7 something, even 8 something, and then it went drop down to 6. It's an experience that you're not familiar with, because I was always in a very good position. So to be able to have Second Chance Credit bring me back to 800, 840, 842, I think is the exact number. What that does is leaps and bounds. Recently, as you know, I had a car transaction. I was able to get the best rate. I'm looking for another house. I expect to get a very good financial offer from the bank in that regard. Those two things there really speak volumes. Also, when somebody's looking at me from the business perspective, they know that I'm an upstanding person because I have a high credit rating. And thank you for that.
It's like your report card, right? It's like your credibility.
Exactly.
As a vice mayor, they do like deep analysis, and they want to really go in on everything. So Now they look at you with your credit, with anything that you do as a man, as a professional. Now it's like almost like a mirror image, you know. Your personal life is good and your finances are good, so everything blends and meshes together
Right.
the way it should be. But you have put in the work, Mike, and you have done it. You have been an amazing and a dream of a client. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. You know, whether it's been in the public sector or in the private sector, you know, I feel that it's a responsibility of myself, not only to my children, but to people I do business with like yourself, to carry the most prestigious honor going forward, because it's a reflection on my children. Like I said, it's a reflection on those who I do business with, like Second Chance Credit, Chris Colston, to make sure that I'm representing whether the public sector side of myself or the private side in the most upstanding way I can.
Thank you, Mike, for this time. Thank you very much for everything that you do. Thank you for being such an impact to your family, to your friends, and to your community. I appreciate you. Everybody in my staff appreciates you a lot. Mike.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Stay there. Okay?
Have a great day.